In this lecture, I will explain the concept, principle of virtual work and D'Alembert's principle. So, what is the meaning of principle of virtual work? In the last lecture, I explained the meaning of virtual displacement. Now, I will give you an idea about principle of virtual work. Suppose you have a system of n particles. Let the position vector of ith particle be Ri. Okay, so you can imagine a coordinate system x, y, z. Suppose a particle is at this point and its position vector is Ri. This is Ri, position of ith particle. So Ri represent position of ith particle. You have a total of n particles. Okay. Now, the system is in static equilibrium. Means we are considering first the case of a system which is in static equilibrium. What is the meaning of static equilibrium? Static equilibrium means net force acting on each particle. Net force acting on each particle is zero. That is the meaning of static equilibrium. So mathematically, I can represent this condition as Fi is equal to 0 for all I. That is, I can be 1, 2, 3, etc. up to n. Because there are total n particles and total force acting on each particle 0 means each particle is in a state of static equilibrium. Equilibrium can be of two types, static equilibrium and dynamic equilibrium. If the net force acting on the system is zero and if the particles are at rest, it is known as static equilibrium. If the net force is zero and the particles are moving, then it is called a dynamic equilibrium. Okay, equilibrium simply means net force acting on the system is zero. Static equilibrium means each particle is at rest. Okay, each particle is at a rest. That is the meaning of static equilibrium. Now, suppose there is a virtual displacement. Okay, let the virtual displacement of ith particle. That is, I can denote it as delta Ri, delta Ri. Normal displacement we will denote it as Bri, but the virtual displacement will denote it as delta Ri. Then virtual work. What is the definition of virtual work? Virtual work is defined as Fi dot delta Ri. Fi dot delta Ri. This is the virtual work on ith particle. Therefore, total virtual work, I can write it as total virtual work. I can write it as W is equal to sigma I Fi dot delta Ri. Okay, Fi dot delta Ri. Now, since all Fi's are 0, all Fi's are 0, we can say that W itself vanishes. W is 0. Because all the Fi's are 0, therefore, irrespective of the value of I can run from 1 to n. All the values of Fi are 0. That means this sum will be automatically 0. So W is 0. That is, I can write sigma I Fi dot delta Ri is equal to 0 for a system which is in static equilibrium. Okay, for a system in static equilibrium, I can write it like this. Now, the net force acting on the particle Fi, I can denote it as the sum of two forces. One is applied force, the second one is constrained force. In a system, there can be applied forces or external forces, and there can be constrained forces or internal forces. Okay, so in a particular particle, the forces acting on it can be categorized into two. One is external force or applied force. The second one is constrained force or internal force. Total force will be the sum of these two. Fia denote the external force or applied force acting on the ith particle. Fic denotes the constrained force acting on the ith particle. Therefore, I can write this statement sigma I Fi dot delta Ri equal to 0 becomes, this becomes sigma I Fi applied plus Fi constrained dot delta Ri is equal to 0. Now, since delta Ri are virtual displacements, from my previous lecture, it is clear that this work done by constrained forces will be 0. If delta Ri's are virtual displacements, work done by the, this is not simple work done, that is sum over all the particles. That individual work done may not be 0, but the sum over all work done, that will be 0. Okay, sometimes can be positive and sometimes can be negative. So the sum will be 0. Okay, sometimes maybe individually 0. Okay, not all the individual work done will be 0, but the net force or net work done by the uh, constrained forces for the virtual displacements will be 0. Will be 0. Okay, that means I can write the remaining thing as sigma I Fi applied dot delta Ri is equal to 0. Delta Ri is equal to 0. And this statement is known as principle of virtual work. This statement is known as principle of virtual work. And we could write like this only when this is virtual displacement. If these displacements are actual displacements, sigma I equal to 1 to n Fic dot dri cannot be 0. If DRIs are actual displacements, and the problem contains rheonomic constraints, and problem contains rheonomic constraints, that is time dependent constraints, then that will not be 0. Okay, that we showed in the earlier lecture, the last lecture we showed that if there is time dependent constraints are usually known as rheonomic constraints. If there is time dependent constraints, then the net work done by the constraint forces will not be 0. But if you are defining a displacement that is known as virtual displacement, then the net work done by the constraint forces will be 0. And that is the core idea of defining virtual displacements. Okay, to get the details, please watch earlier lecture. And since we are considering virtual displacements, this term is 0, and we will get sigma I equal to 1 to n Fia dot delta Ri is equal to 0, where Fia is applied force acting on the ith particle, and delta Ri is virtual displacement of ith particle. Okay, so this is the statement of principle of virtual work. Now, this principle doesn't mean that all the Fia are 0. Okay, these delta Ri's are not independent of each other. Hence, this statement doesn't mean that all the FIAs are 0. I'll give you a simple example. Consider an equation like this: F1A1 plus F2A2 plus F3A3 equal to 0. This I can write it as sigma I equal to 1 to 3 Fi equal to 0. If this A1, A2, A3 are all independent and non-zero, in order to satisfy this equation, F1 should be 0, F2 should be 0 and F3 should be 0. But suppose these two are related. A2 is equal to 2A1. Then that equation becomes F1A1 plus F2 into 2A1 plus F3A3 equal to 0. From the first two terms, I can take A1 outside. That this becomes F1 plus 2F2 into A1 plus F3A3 equal to 0. Since A1 and A3 are non-zero, in order to satisfy this, F1 plus 2F2 equal to 0 and F3 equal to 0. Okay, so if A1, A2 and A3 are all independent, then this equation means that F1 equal to 0, F2 equal to 0, F3 equal to 0. But if there is any dependence between A1, A2 or A1, A3 or A2, A3 etc., then this equation doesn't mean that this F1, F2, F3 are individually 0. Okay, that is why I mentioned this principle of virtual work doesn't mean that FIAs are 0 for all I, because these delta Ri's are not independent. Okay, now I will give you an example of a problem which is based on principle of virtual work. Find the horizontal force F that keeps the system in static equilibrium. Here the system consists of three masses A, B and C. The system is such that A and B are connected by a rigid rod. This length is fixed R. B and C are also connected by a rigid rod. This length is also fixed R. This A is fixed in this horizontal plane. C is restricted to move only in this directions. Okay, C can move either forward or backward, but only along a straight line. Okay, C is always in contact with this horizontal plane. That is the system. Now the question is, what is the force, or what should be the force F which makes the system in static equilibrium? According to principle of virtual work, I can write here I equal to 1 to 3, 1 to 3 FIA dot delta Ri equal to 0. Because there are three masses and I have to calculate force acting on each mass. And I have to consider only the external force. What are the external forces here? For this particular mass A, there is no external force, mg, and this weight and reaction balances. Here for this second mass, there is a weight mg acting vertically downward, and for this third mass, there is the weight and reaction will cancel, but there is a horizontal force. So I can say that F1 A is 0. If I take the first mass as A, F2A is minus mg y cap, say y cap. If I consider my coordinates as this, the horizontal direction as x and vertical upward direction as y, then this mg is in the vertical downward direction, so I can write it as minus mg y cap. F3A is minus Fx cap, minus Fx cap. Now need to write the vector symbol because I multiplied here with the unit vector. These are F1, F2, F3, F1A, F2A and F3A. Now, what is RA? What is RA? RA is using this coordinates. This is 0, 0. So RA is 0 I cap plus 0 J cap. So delta RA is also 0. Now, what is RB? What is RB? RB is I will denote it as R2. Okay, this delta RA, I can denote it as delta R1, and that is 0. This is R2, and that is given by x by 2 I cap plus root of r square minus x square by 4 j cap, because this length is horizontal length is x by 2, this vertical length is square root of r square minus x square by 4. Therefore delta r2 is delta x by 2 I cap plus square root derivative is 1 by 2 root r square minus x square by 4 into function of a function 2x by 4 into delta x multiplied with the j cap. What is RC? I can call it as third mass, the displacement of third mass R3. R3 is nothing but xi cap. So delta R3 is delta xi cap. Delta xi cap. If I substitute back in this expression, I can write it as F1A dot delta R1 plus F2A dot delta R2 plus F3A dot delta R3 equal to 0. What is F1A? F1A is 0. So this becomes 0. What is F2A? F2A is minus mg y cap. Y cap I can write it as j cap. Dot delta R2. Delta R2 is delta x by 2 I cap. Then this is 2 and 2 will cancel, and it is x by 4 plus x by 4 divided by root of r square minus it is r square minus x square by 4 into delta x j cap. Okay, this is delta x j cap plus f3a is minus f I cap minus f I cap dot delta r3 is delta x I cap. Delta x I cap. Okay, substituted all those equal to 0. This is the statement of principle of virtual work. This is the statement of principle of virtual work. Now j cap dot I cap is 0, j cap dot j cap is 1. So I will get it as minus mg x by 4 divided by root of r square minus x square by 4 delta x. And this is minus f delta x minus f delta x equal to 0. Minus f delta x equal to 0. Okay. Now here I forgot to put a negative sign because this is minus x square by 4. So that becomes minus 2x by 4. And here also I will have a negative sign. So this becomes positive. Therefore I can write this as f minus mg x by 4 divided by root of r square minus x square by 4 into delta x equal to 0. But delta x cannot be 0. But delta x cannot be 0. This implies f should be equal to mg x by 4 divided by root of r square minus x square by 4. This I can write it as mg by 2 into cot theta. If I define theta here, what is cot theta? Cot theta is adjacent side by vertical opposite side. Adjacent side is x by 2. Opposite side is this thing root of r square minus x square by 4. Okay, so this is mg by 2 cot theta. This is the horizontal force required to keep this system in static equilibrium. Keep this system in static. Okay, so this is the way in which we can apply the principle of virtual work, okay, to solve the systems which are in static equilibrium. Now we are going to consider a system which is in motion, okay, a dynamic system. In the case of a system which is in static equilibrium, we can apply principle of virtual work. But for a system which is in motion, we can apply D'Alembert's principle. Okay, I will explain what is meant by D'Alembert's principle. Consider an n-particle system, but the particles are now in motion. Suppose you have or consider a particular particle, ith particle. Suppose Fi is the force acting on this particle, and due to this force, this particle have a change in momentum, and let the rate of change of momentum is given by pi dot. Okay, and this rate of change of momentum is equal to the applied force, and it happens in the direction of force also, according to Newton's second law. According to Newton's second law, the rate of change of momentum produced on a body is equal to the applied force. So since we are considering a system in motion, the particles will be moving, and if you are considering an ith particle, the force is Fi and the rate of change of momentum is pi dot. That is the situation. Now, suppose there is a reversed effective force as per the language of D'Alembert. If there is a force pi dot in the opposite direction as that of Fi, this body we can keep it in static equilibrium. Okay, due to this force Fi, there is a rate of change of momentum. But if you apply a force which is exactly equal to the rate of change of momentum produced in the opposite direction, then we can keep that body at rest. So under the force Fi minus pi dot, this system will be in static equilibrium. And under the action of this force, we can apply principle of virtual work. So if we consider this force Fi minus pi dot, we can again apply the principle of virtual work we defined earlier. That is sigma I equal to 1 to n. Instead of Fi, you have to write Fi minus pi dot, because under this force, resultant force, this body is in static equilibrium. Dot delta Ris are virtual displacements. Then sum over all the particles. This quantity is equal to 0. That is the statement of principle of virtual work. And the principle of virtual work is actually for a system in static equilibrium. This is actually a system in motion, but we can apply that same principle by assuming a reversed effective force minus pi dot. That is the idea. Here Fi minus pi dot is 0 for all I. For all I. Okay. So I can say that Fi minus pi dot delta Ri will be 0. Now Fi can be the sum of external force or applied force and sum of internal force or constrained force. So substituting back in that expression, I can write it as sigma I Fi applied plus Fi constrained minus pi dot delta Ri equal to 0. Now, as we did in the case of principle of virtual work, sigma I Fi constrained dot delta Ri will be 0. Okay, this is due to the definition of virtual displacement. Okay, from the definition of virtual displacement, or you can watch the previous video. From the definition of virtual displacement, the sum sigma I Fic dot delta Ri is 0 from the definition of virtual displacement. So I can write this remaining as sigma I Fia minus pi dot delta Ri is equal to 0. This is the statement of D'Alembert's principle. This is the statement of D'Alembert's principle. Sigma I Fia minus pi dot delta Ri is equal to 0. This is known as D'Alembert's principle. Okay. Now I will give you one example in order to show how can we apply this principle. Okay. Consider a standard example. A bead moving on a rod. Bead moving on a rod. Okay. Suppose you have a rod which is inclined with the x-axis at an angle, say alpha, and you have a mass which is moving along this rod, and suppose this point has coordinates x, y. The force acting or external force is a weight of this mass which is acting vertically downward. That is the only external force here. So this is x-axis, this is y-axis. Now, what is r? Position vector? It is xi cap plus yj cap. So what is delta r? Delta r is delta x I cap plus delta y j cap. And what is FYA? FIA, applied force. It is minus mg j cap. Minus mg j cap. Sigma I FIA minus PI dot delta Ri equal to 0 is the statement of D'Alembert's principle. Here we have only one particle. No need to give this summation. There is only one term. So I can write it as F1A minus P1 dot delta R1 is equal to 0. Already we got the value of F1A. It is minus mg j cap. Delta R1 is delta x I cap plus delta y j cap. What is P1 dot? What is P1 dot? What is P? P is momentum, and momentum I can write it as the sum of two terms Px I cap plus Py j cap. Px is nothing but mx dot I cap plus Py is nothing but my dot. This is momentum in the x direction, mass into velocity in the x direction. Momentum in the y direction, mass into velocity in the y direction. So P dot is mx double dot I cap plus my double dot j cap. Now we can substitute all these back in this expression. Instead of FIA, we have minus mg j cap. Instead of Pi dot, we can write mx double dot I cap plus my double dot j cap. Instead of delta R1, we can write delta x I cap plus delta y j cap. So substituting all these, you will get an equation like this. And j cap is 1, j cap dot I cap is 0, I cap dot I cap is 1, I cap dot j cap is 0. Okay, taking the non-zero times, we will get minus mg minus my double dot into delta y minus mx double dot into delta x equal to 0. Okay, and this doesn't mean that the term inside this open bracket individually is 0 and this term individually is 0. Okay, this equation doesn't mean that this vanishes and this vanishes. Why? Because delta x and delta y are not independent. Delta x and delta y are not independent. How they are connected? Look at this figure. This bead is constrained to move only along this rod. That is, this alpha is always constant. This rod is at a particular angle alpha with x-axis, and that is a constant. So tan alpha is vertical height divided by horizontal, that is y divided by x, that is always a constant. So y is always equal to x tan alpha. So y and x are not independent variables. They are related with this expression. Y is equal to x tan alpha. So I can substitute here delta y is equal to x tan alpha means delta y is delta x tan alpha because tan alpha is a constant. So delta y you can substitute it as delta x tan alpha in this expression. Delta x keep it as such. Then take delta x outside. Then the remaining is mg plus my double dot tan alpha plus mx double dot into delta x is 0. But delta x cannot be 0. Delta x cannot be 0. So the term inside the square bracket should be 0. That means mx double dot is equal to minus of this quantity. Okay, minus of mg plus my double dot tan alpha. But we already know that y equal to x tan alpha. That means y dot is equal to x dot tan alpha. Y double dot is equal to x double dot tan alpha. Substituting back, I can write it as mx double dot is equal to minus mg plus mx double dot tan alpha into tan alpha. So that is mx double dot is equal to minus mg tan alpha minus mx double dot tan square alpha. This minus mx double dot tan square alpha will we can take into the left hand side. And mx double dot into 1 plus tan square alpha is equal to minus mg tan alpha minus mg tan alpha. 1 plus tan square alpha is I think sec square alpha, that is minus mg tan alpha into cos square alpha, and that is nothing but minus mg. Tan alpha is sine by cos, sine alpha by cos alpha into cos alpha. I will get it as m minus mg sine alpha cos alpha minus mg sine alpha cos alpha. This is the equation. This is the equation for mx double dot, or force along horizontal direction. Force along horizontal direction for a bead which is moving along a rod, which is moving along a rod inclined at an angle alpha. This equation we can obtain using different methods, and this is a standard expression for the force acting on a bead which is acting along a rod which is inclined at an angle alpha. This is the method by which we can uh, apply this D'Alembert's principle. D'Alembert's principle. And D'Alembert's principle is for a system which is moving. Principle of virtual work is for a system which is stationary. Okay. So this is all about the principle of virtual work and D'Alembert's principle. Thank you.